Hi. So today was the second to last time that we are going to be at the Refugee Center for the Study Abroad program, and it was a really different type of day today. It started off kind of slow. There was not that many refugees at the center. I think mostly just because it's Ramadan and they're probably tired and they don't come to eat breakfast, so they just don't really come in. But it started off with one of the refugees that I met last week, Mohammed. He came over and said hi again, and it was just a really good feeling that he actually remembered me. And last time wasn't just oh hey, like see you never again. And it was really nice to see him and gave him a hug. So it's almost like they're happy to see you again because they remember you, and that's a really nice feeling. And after that, I'm just going to skip more towards the end. We went into the artisan room, and we're going to start making the keychains. But for a while, actually, we just kind of listened to Rakeen talk, and I haven't had the opportunity to personally really hear him talk about his situation or how he feels that often. I've heard through others, I've obviously heard through Jen, but it was different actually hearing it through him. And just in general today, he didn't have the best start to the day. It took him an extremely long time, more than usual, to get to the center. The buses weren't working, he had to walk. And again, it just reminds you how lucky we are. I take for granted just getting to the center on my days that I have to be there. I take the bus and yeah, wow, I'm on the bus for half hour, have to leave an hour early. Yeah, Rakeen just to come see us and be with us has to just get on a 2 hour commute. And today, I don't know exactly what happened, but the bus wasn't working or the bus didn't come, so it took him even longer. And it's just again, just what he does just to see us and what he has to go through just to be able to get around. So that's besides the point. He didn't even dwell on that. But anyways, before we started making the um, keychains, Rakin kind of went into where he was a few years ago before he had his mother come to him in his dream. And you don't really hear people talk about a lot how depressed they are and how they're in a actual suicidal state. He was going to take his own life because he had nothing or nobody left. And me personally, I don't think about people that are in that state. And people obviously don't like to admit that either. And that's just a time in someone's life when they're that low and they feel that they have nothing left to live for. And he had been through so much at that point that it wasn't worth living to him. And now I think about how far he's come. He is able to, it's worth it for him to get on that bus for 2.5 hours or that train to come see us. And I don't know, like Jen, you're his mom, and you mean the absolute world to him, and you can see that he talks so fondly of you. And us, he knows us for 5, 6 weeks, and he's already been able to form such connections with him that we are his family, and we're the people that are able to bring him up. Yet we leave him, and it's so hard for him. And you don't think about that. For us, this is an experience where we get to learn about the world, become not so ignorant and naive to it, and also form connections. But to him, like, we're those people that act as his family because he doesn't have any left. So it's just like that whole, again, using Sean's words, full circle, that for him, it's more than just an experience like it is for us. It's time that he has people that care for him and try to get to know him and are learning from him, and just people there for him, which he doesn't have the other part. Well, he has now at the center, but that he's lost due to his family being taken from him. So that was a big thing, but it was also another kind of metaphorical moment as we were doing the learning how to do the keychains, and we were all having a lot of issues with it. It was hard. Like, yeah, I made it okay, but not like the perfect circle smooth that they sell. And it kind of puts into perspective again, like how much work they put into trying to make a living and trying to sell these to people. It's hard work. It's not easy, and but they do it. And the thing that I take away out of it most is they were making so much beauty and so much creativity out of nothing. Scraps of newspaper, old garbage. Yet they were able to make that beauty out of it, especially that bowl he showed us with the intricate. It's amazing to even be able to come up with something like that. And it's metaphorical because that's what their life is. They are making what they can out of what they have. It's nothing close to beautiful in our eyes, but they're making beautiful out of nothing. They're making a beautiful life out of nothing. And it's incredible because you don't think about it that way, because you never think about yourself in that situation and what you would do, but you see them doing it. They are living their lives. He was suicidal, and now he's making all this beauty, all this creativity out of what he has. He's making the most out of his situation. And I think that's one of my key takeaways from working or volunteering at the center is you have to take what you have in life, and yeah, nothing is ever going to be perfect, and you're going to experience hard times, hopefully nothing like they've ever experienced, but you just have to think, and you have to think forward. You can't think back, you can't say what if or dwell on it. You need to move forward like they have, because if they can do it, then if you get a bad grade on a test or fail a class, you can move forward. It's not the end of the world. Another big takeaway I took is just from this whole entire learning process, not just from today, is you really can't judge a book by its cover. You have zero clue what anybody has gone through. You don't know what the homeless man on the street has gone through, what your neighbor has even gone through, what the wealthiest person has even gone through. You have no clue. And to assume, that's just how problems arise, because, again, you have no clue how they've gotten to where they are at or what they've gone through. And you might not have wanted to go the same path or experience what they have, or you may have. You just don't know. And that's what people show on the outside. We talked about this today. It's superficial. It's not heart deep. It's not heartfelt. We were talking about how every time Jen saw Rakeen, he had that smile, yet he was suicidal on the inside in his mind. It's a facade, and you really never know until you've, again, walked their shoes, going full circle. Going to the actual, what the theme of the week is, just this whole experience, when you use the word volunteering, I think it brings up a connotation, kind of. Sometimes people are like, oh, like, I'm just doing this, like, to be better, maybe feel better about myself, like I'm doing a good thing. Or sometimes you're forced to do it, or it looks good on a resume, and I don't know, like, this experience has been so much different. I happily talk to my parents on the phone about my experiences at the refugee center. Instead of talking about what I've actually done every day in Rome, like, or the sites I've seen, it's the people I talk about the people I've met instead, or what I've learned about refugees. And every time I get to go to the center, I'm excited. Like, I'm excited to get to talk to them and have them. This is kind of sad, but they bring me up. They make me smile. They make me feel good about myself, which I hope that I get to do for them too. So that's kind of like how my perception about volunteering has changed, because a lot of times people, it's more has selfish intentions, whereas this time I was excited to be at the center. When I first heard that we were doing the service learning, it was at the interview for it, or yeah. Maybe it wasn't at the interview. It was some point that I was talking to Jen, and I thought it sounded unreal. I didn't really understand the issue about it. I have always really enjoyed helping people, so that's what kind of drew me into, which ties into corporate responsibility. I hope in the future, whoever I work for, or this is a job that I will look for that has something to do with surrounding environments or being a leader in humanitarian efforts. But back to what I was saying. Oh yeah, back to the service learning. I was excited to be able to help people, but I didn't know exactly what I was doing. The people from last year that went on the program that I talked to said it was a great experience, but again, you really cannot put into words what this experience is. You can try and you can explain what you've learned, but I think it's just extremely hard to understand until, again, you've been here, you're experiencing it firsthand. So you can, it'll be like I'm going to try to explain it to my parents as much as I can, and they're going to try to understand, but they're not going to get obviously the full hit of it unless they were to be here. I think even though it's only been five weeks this week, both at the refugee center and in general, I've already told my parents, I've already told other people, and I've seen it in my own other classmates that are on this program, how people have changed. Me personally, it sounds so cliche, but I just feel like I've become a better person in general. I hate to say this, but I was so naive, like so ignorant. I didn't even know the refugee problem, and I was clueless. And now I feel, first of all, just so informed about it. I just feel more sympathetic, not even sympathetic. I feel more just empathetic. I feel more knowledgeable. I feel that I can explain this more to other people. I can correct other people, but more importantly, I just feel that I can't judge anymore. And that's such a great feeling to not look at somebody on the street like I've seen and be like, oh, like this is their fault, they're in their situation, blah, 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 blah. No, I feel like I just understand more that people are dealt very unfortunate cards. And yes, I'm so blessed and I'm so fortunate to have what I have and the experience I've experienced, but not everybody has that luxury and the opportunity and the resources. And I've also learned that these people don't deserve anything they've been dealt. Nothing. They don't deserve to be unemployed. They don't deserve to be living on the back porch of Termini or to be hungry. And it's just not fair. And for them to also have that negative connotation and be treated how they're treated, they don't deserve that. And I think that's a really big realization and a really big perspective change. And it shows growth on my part, and it almost it's popped that little bubble that I've been living in, that the world isn't all ice cream and sprinkles, and it's real. There's bad stuff that happens, and I've always, yeah, you hear about it in the news, but it's nothing close to you, so you ignore it. We've been desensitized, but when you're actually put there and you're with these people and you're interacting with them and you're making connections every week and you're giving them hugs every time and you're growing from them and with them, it's hard to kind of just move on untouched from that. And I think it's so amazing that in these 5 weeks I've been done more impactful things and I've been more impacted than I think I've been ever in any class of mine, in any school year of mine. And I think it's because we're having that firsthand experience, talking with these people, actually being there, being present, instead of reading it from a textbook. And we're learning valuable things that actually matter. So these are things that I can carry with me in the future as I've changed. They've become part of my personality and my attitude. They're things I can bring to a workplace. They're ways I can interact with other people. And they're just such valuable qualities that I've been able to adopt now and bring with me through the years, through the rest of my life. So it's sad that we're going to be leaving. I wish I could be here longer. I wish I could interact with more people. I wish I could have had more time to even build on these connections. But I'm so happy that I have had the opportunity to learn and grow and hang out with the strongest, the friendliest and honestly the most inspirational people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. So truly, it's really hard to put into words and even describe what this experience has been like. But I'm so blessed to have had the opportunity for it. So, thank you. Ciao.